Hey everybody, it's Peter, and this is the 2025 Ski-Doo Expedition Xtreme. This one has the Ace engine, 900 Ace engine. We're going to talk about that in a second, but this thing is, to me, the kind of snowmobile that's just made for absolutely everyone to do absolutely everything. Now, of course, it's not the bottom of the line. There are less expensive models in the Expedition line. I've reviewed the SE model in the past, which has a much taller windshield and more sort of a casual feel to it. This one's a little bit more extreme, to match the name, a little bit more sporty and that kind of thing. So what we're going to do is walk through this bit by bit. This is probably a video that's going to show you a few things that maybe the other videos aren't showing you. I'm not going to be ripping it through the snow, so if that's what you're looking for, I do apologize, but hopefully you'll see some things that you haven't seen before. So I'm filming here at Xtreme Torque Motorsports. If you want to freak out someone in your life, just tell them you went to Torque and you bought something there. And if you can't afford this without permission, then you could probably afford this without permission. There's all kinds of gear here, middle of the winter, so make sure you check them out. There's 3 locations in New Brunswick, and they give me complete access to this entire product line. So if you have questions and you're not in New Brunswick, feel free to ask me and I'll make sure I come back to this again and again. So as I mentioned before, the Expedition line is really something that's designed to do everything, but of course, nothing that does everything well. So where does this really fit in doing everything? Well, it starts out as sort of a work platform. It can get the job done for you, whether that's some towing or some other stuff. If you need to take a passenger, you can set this up for that as well. But it also has the ability to do some long trail, long days, that kind of thing, more some touring. But this one, of course, has some more sport. So it's not going to be as sporty as the sport models from Ski-Doo, but it is going to be more sporty than the other Expedition models. Now, with that, you also get this engine. There are 2 engine choices here. There's a 2-stroke and the 4-stroke. The 4-stroke is the 900 Ace Turbo R. That's what this has got. So that gives you a few advantages of the 4-stroke engine, right? The electric start's going to be, traditional electric start. It's got that torquey engine, so powerful. And again, if you want to go with a 2-stroke, you can do that as well. This 900 Ace engine is one that I'm very familiar with because I spend more time doing summer stuff with the Torque Motorsports. And of course, this has been the engine used on the Can-Am Ryker. So it's used in a variety of their products. Really reliable, really good engine for all kinds of things. A really sort of versatile engine. But what's going to make this unique is the way this thing goes over the snow. Let's take a look underneath the front and talk about what's out there. So taking a look down the front of this sled, one of the things I want to point out that Ski-Doo always does well is they really have some good mass centralization. So whenever you hear me talk about motorsports, whether it's motorcycles or whether it's ATVs or snowmobiles, I always talk about, how is it actually engineered from the basics? Because you can always, put great suspension on a poor unit and it'll look great in the showroom, but how will it handle? Well, you can see here, not only is the mass centralized, but they really have nothing extra outside. So you've got a blunt nose, which is a shorter nose, and then you also have a really narrow unit out front. So you've got this long suspension arms. That's going to give you good suspension travel. It's 8.7 inches of suspension travel in the front here. And of course, you have the typical Ski-Doo thing where you can sort of widen the track and narrow the track just at the ski level there. So what you have is something that is going to be absolutely great on the trail, but also very good off the trail. So that's really what you want in a versatile machine that's going to be a work machine, but also something for fun. So let's take a quick look at what you have for suspension though. So taking a look at the suspension here, we're going to zoom in for a second here. We'll scroll a little bit up from where we are, and you can sort of see the threads there in the center of the screen. I'm going to refocus it when I put my finger there, but the threads up there. So you do have some preload adjustment to these KYB shocks. Good brand name, solid brand. But if you want to go more sporty in the lineup, then you're going to go with something that has adjustable suspension more than just the preload adjustment. So what you end up with here is non-adjustable front suspension other than your preload, which again, for most people is perfectly fine. Some people who really want to play with their suspension and tweak it, you have that advantage on a more sporty machine, but you have quality without going into crazy adjustment and everything else. And I think that fits this sled's design very well. So before we get to the top of the screen right now and all the accessories up there, and we'll talk about the versatility of the sleds, let's just quickly talk about the track. Of course, you want a track that has the ability to be maneuverable, and that means it's short, and you also want something that has the ability to give you flotation, which means it's long, and of course this one adapts to both. You can just pull this out and lift it up, if I can do it right, like that, and lock it in place. So you can shorten the effective track or lengthen the effective track and lock it in if I can do it right, but I'm not on the snow, so we got it back in there. So you do have the ability to shorten and lengthen the track, which of course gives you extra maneuverability, extra flotation, and the feel that you're looking for. Now the big thing with this is the utility. So we're going to talk about some of the accessories that Torque Motorsports has thrown up here, but we also want to show you a couple other things on the front in a second. So stay with me through the stuff that may or may not apply to you, because we want to show you how this is different from some of the other Expedition models as well. So whenever you go into a showroom with BRP products, you're going to see the LinQ system, LinQ. And what that does is it links accessories to the machine, whether that's a snowmobile, whether that's a side-by-side, an ATV, even a Sea-Doo, all kinds of different things. It's the same attachment point. So some of these things are going to be specific to snowmobiles, like a shovel, for instance. If you need to shovel out some snow, you're going to do that. You're not going to put that on your Sea-Doo. At least I don't think you would. You've also got an extra bit of gas and, of course, a storage container. Now, there's all kinds of different styles of these. Things that are waterproof, things that are, hard bags, soft bags, all kinds of things. And they can be used even on some of the three-wheelers. They have a LinQ system as well. So what you end up with is, because there's so many products in the Can-Am lineup, you have far more accessories than you would get from other manufacturers. And that means that this is, of course, something you can equip it with as you buy it, but it's also things you can equip with down the road. So if your needs change, you don't necessarily have to get a new sled, especially if you get an Expedition. You can take what you need on the sled and attach it very easily. And you can see, if I can zoom into the center of the screen here, all of this stuff, of course, is very easy to quick release. You just pull the tab right here, and you can release stuff back there. So really simple stuff, keeps things very secure, gives you a lot of versatility, but it also, of course, is simple to take on and off the sled. So in a minute here, we're going to take you aboard with me. We're going to show you what we've got for a dash and for a view here. But a couple things I want to point out before you get sort of on board with me here. First of all, every seat that I've sat on every snowmobile here in the Ski-Doo lineup, the BRP lineup, they're all very nicely padded. They're very cushy and soft. So of course, the suspension has a primary job of keeping things in touch with the ground. So of course, you want to keep the track down, you want to keep the skis down. That's its primary job, and it's especially important when you have something like a snowmobile where if the skis lift a little bit, you're not just wheels and it can slide around, right? So you've got something where suspension's job is to keep skis and track in contact with the ground, which means that you need to have, on a good snowmobile, a little extra cushy seat to take some of those minor bumps out for comfort, and that's what this does. Now, the other Expedition model that I've reviewed in the past has a much taller windscreen here, right? So this one is going to give you a little less weather protection, but if you get into sticky situations, you can lean way forward over here. You've got good control while standing up, and the windshield won't be in your way. So that's part of what adds a little bit extra sport. Now, you can add extra tow holds. This one doesn't come standard with that. Some of your sport machines would, so you could really kind of use those tow holds to move things around. This one doesn't have that. So again, it's a utility machine at heart. You've got wide open tracks here, or running boards here, so you can clear the snow there, but you haven't got some of the sport-specific things that, if you really go full-out sport, you may want. But for an Expedition unit, this thing's definitely got a sporty feel. So let's bring you aboard. Let's show you what we've got out here. So I've got the wide angle camera out as we hop aboard here, and I'll show you what we've got. Again, a couple little nice things in here. You can see that sort of the accessories, of course, they're trying to sell accessories, but it's just little practical stuff, right? You've got a little handlebar bag there. On an Expedition type unit, you may want something like that, or something like this. So now we're gonna go away from the wide angle look for a second here. If I can, I think I changed the focus. So we're gonna try to look at the dash here in 1 second, but before we do that, I just wanna show you there is a nice little spot up there. It doesn't have a 12-volt port, but it looks like it could. So I just want to point that out in the back there. This one does not come equipped with that, but I think you could add stuff. Of course, your phone is that's a good place to put your phone, keep it nice and protected here. As we just glance at the dash for a second here, sort of the standard dash. Now on some machines you can get that big 10¼ inch display. This is the display that I think a lot of people just want, unless you really want the 10¼ inch display, TFT type displays when you're snowmobiling, then you could have this one here. So again, you've got different sport modes and other kinds of things. If you want to see a dash review, I can probably do a dash review in the future. So let me know in the comments if that's what you want to do. But we're going to keep moving through here. Like I said, all the information you need, nothing you don't. Temperature gauge on the right, fuel gauge on the left, some various information like odometer type things up there, clear speedometer there, and RPM is listed now, but we can switch that up on the bottom if you want. All right, coming back over here, we've got the left side hand grip here. So of course you've got your brakes here, heated grips, heated throttle there. You've got your start and reverse and your light button there. So simple stuff. And again, this one here is going to keep a little extra wind off. It's nice and flexible if it ever gets hit, nothing big. So you don't want to hit like something hard, it'll hurt your hands. But again, it's going to keep that snow and wind off there. Coming across the throttle side here, this throttle is typical, again, with the heated grips, heated throttle, and your kill switch right there. So taking a quick look. Now one thing here, you have got the, because it's a 4-stroke, you have the 91 octane listed right there on it, but again, no mix or anything like that. So Down here, if I can show you, the sport mode and the eco mode button is right, push it down nice and easy. Again, all these buttons are super easy to work, and I'm gonna pull the key off here. That is your key on a lot of Can-Am products. So it's the DESS, which off the top of my head, I've now forgot what it is, but it's a digital encoded some security system key. Basically what this is instead of having a couple notches in a key the old-fashioned way, it's digitally encoded, makes it super secure. And the nice thing is, if you had a couple different Sea-Doo products, you could use the same key, or I say Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo or Sea-Doos or Rikers or something like that. You can actually program the same key to work multiple devices. So we're gonna pop that in there. It's nice and secure. And of course, you've got your gear here, so you've got high, neutral, and low. Again, being a more working type machine, you've got that low range gearing to really get you to allow you to do that extra work. So a couple little things that you wouldn't expect up here and a couple things that you would, but again, with this Xtreme model, you do have that lower windshield, allowing a little extra body positioning, and I really like this color. If I can try to show you here with the lights, you've got a nice metallic to it, so you can get it in black as well, but I think the yellow really makes it stand out, and it makes it look a bit more sporty than it is, you know, at least more sporty than some of the other Expedition models. So let's talk about who this model is for. Now for me, this is one of my favorite models. I love versatility in all kinds of power sports. I love adventure bikes for that, but I also own a sport bike motorcycle, so there's a time for the right tool. What I like about this is I think it's sporty enough for most riders. I think the extra utility you get allows you to be the guy that can do anything. If you need to do some workout at a property somewhere, you can do it. You've got the sled for that. But you're not going to sacrifice fun or comfort to do that. This Xtreme model, with both its color scheme, suspension, the engine choices, and again, the little bit sportier look with a different windshield, I think offers you enough sport that when you're riding this thing, you feel like you got something that's fun to ride instead of purely utilitarian, but you're not sacrificing any of that utilitarian stuff. For me, not having that 10¼ inch display with a whole bunch of you know, extra functions in theory, but really just an extra prettiness, I think this is kind of that price point that people are looking for. It's like utilitarian in its dash and its use, but like I said, all the comfort you could ever need. What I like about this is if your needs change over time, a lot of this accessory system that you can get through this BRP system is really going to allow you to swap out what you want, what you need, add things along the way, and hey, you can always choose something for your Christmas gift if that's something you want. It's a lot easier to forward something back here than maybe the base platform which you have here. So this Xtreme edition, I happen to like the 4-cylinders sleds, or sorry, 4-stroke sleds. I'm used to that, but of course 2-strokes are really popular as well. Whichever one you want to do, you can set this up like that. So that is the basic overview of this model. If there are things you want to know about the whole lineup here, I'm not the expert on this stuff. These guys do their best to teach me as best they can. I'm more of a summer sports guy, but if you have questions about these, I'm allowed to come back to Torque Motorsports anytime I want to review anything I want and say whatever I want. So if you have questions, make sure you let me know, and I'll make sure if I don't have the answer that I find out. Of course, if you want to come see these guys, whether for merch or for a machine like this, make sure you swing by. There's 3 locations in New Brunswick. Check them out, Xtreme Torque Motorsports. The link to their website is in the description of this video. Thanks everybody for watching. If you made it this far, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.